Hello, dear students. Welcome to What, Why, How, the daily initiative by IAS Baba, where we take up a current affair or an editorial and we declutter it in less than 10 minutes. The topic that I have chosen for today is something of great pride to us as Indians. The ISRO has successfully executed the SPADEX docking. SPADEX, basically, we are going into the details of what SPADEX means, what is the relevance of it, etc. So by doing this experiment successfully, India has also joined an elite club of nations who have or who own this technology. There are just very few nations who have this technology of docking. So first of all, this experiment is called as SPADEX docking experiment. What exactly is the meaning of docking? Docking primarily means to put into place. So what are you trying to put into place? See, now what happens is whenever you are launching satellites into your space, different orbits, at times what happens is you might require a situation where, suppose, let's say there are two satellites over here. Now one satellite's power source is draining off and the other satellite is now being sent over there. If you do have a method to somehow join the two satellites together, the power source of one of them can be used to fuel the other. Okay, now this is one case. Second case is, now for example, you are sending some human into your, or you have your space flight missions or your international space station. So what happens is, in your international space station, it's not sent as just one unit. Sometimes what happens is there would be one docking unit and you'll have different satellites trying to go and attach to your international space station. In that case also, one technology that is super important is called as docking. Docking primarily means that you are attaching two space objects together to put it into a single spot. Now, when I'm saying single spot, the single spot means that maybe sometimes the power can be shared. The single spot can also be done so that, that satellite then becomes like one unit and they keep on revolving around whatever is the target. As you can see over here, this is what primarily happened in SPADEX also. You have one satellite which is over here and the second satellite which is over here. Now at one point, what has happened is both of them have gotten attached and this is called as your docking experiment. That means two satellites which were orbiting the earth at different speeds, they got the satellites to reduce their speeds, come closer together and then fix with each other. Now they are fixing with each other. You can see over here, for example, if one satellite has a round structure like this, the other satellites may be unit that can go and fix it somewhere within it in this manner. Now this is what is called as docking. So India has now successfully executed the SPADEX docking experiment, making India the fourth country after USA, Russia and China. So previously only 3 countries have done this successfully. Now India becomes one amongst them. Now, the one more important thing about India's docking system is India has conducted something called as an androgynous docking system. Androgynous docking system means, you can see over here, you have very similar structures. For example, one satellite has a bigger circle, the second satellite has a smaller circle, and they both go and fix together in a perfect manner. Now, this is a much more complex thing. Previously, what kind of docking used to be there is like your plugs. Now, for example, you know how plugs work, right? Or for example, a USB cable. How does a USB go and fit? You will have one structure and the other one, you call this as a male structure and the other one is like a female structure. It goes and gets attached. Because they are not of the same shape or size, it gets attached because it fits. Understand? Like how you would have maybe a plug point. You have the different holes over here and you put the plug point over there. That used to be the previous kind of docking. Now what has happened is both of them have very similar structures and they get fixed in just because there is a difference in your size. Got it. This is a much more advanced technology, and that is also the reason why India's this docking system is currently of much appreciation. Now, some of the other information that you have to know from it is the satellites that were used to conduct this experiment were called as the Chaser satellite and the Target satellite. Both of them were launched on December 30th in a PSLV launch vehicle. They have been on the Earth's circular orbit, almost 475 kilometer above the Earth's surface. In the orbit, they have been there. They weigh almost 220 kg each, and it is these both satellites that have been now fixed as one unit. Now, understand, SPADEX doesn't just mean docking. Once you have docked, the experiment also becomes complete if both the satellites can also detach themselves. That means docking and undocking of the satellites will also be conducted as experiments in the coming days. So docking is now done. The next part of the experiment is to undock the satellites. That means separate them both and put them back into their trajectory. Now, why is all of this important? See, docking is one of the most important technologies if you're planning to venture into space travel, human space flight, etc. It is extremely essential for futuristic missions like sending an Indian astronaut onto the moon, a return from the moon, building an operation of the Indian space station. Beyond all those also, it becomes extremely important if two docked spacecrafts can have a transfer of electric power, because that is the most important utility of docking. If one satellite fails, the other one needs to be fueled or the other one needs to be guided. In that case, they have to dock, and it's not just a physical docking. After the physical docking, there has to be even the transfer of electricity between both so that they can keep moving. So even that demonstration is important. Besides all of this, India's current SPADEX system is appreciated all around the world because of its simplicity. For doing this entire experiment to control the alignment and the guidance and everything, India has just used two motors to guide the alignment and guidance during docking. Whereas internationally, for your International Space Station and so, the docking experiment is done with 24 motors. That means this is a much more simple yet high precision system that India has developed. So much of laurels on the way for India to conduct this in a very successful manner. So now to conclude, for a country that is now planning to establish its own space station, that is your Bharatiya Antariksh Station by 2035, or having a man on the moon by 2040, your space docking experiment is literally increasing or expanding the boundaries of your space travel. And this is so important if the country wants to venture into interplanetary and extraplanetary space travel. So I hope you've understood this very complex yet very important technology in depth. I hope if you understood this, give me a thumbs up in the comments, because I would really like to know if you've understood this, because it's a very complex technology. Until we meet again, take care and happy learning.